KOMP 92.3, the rock station, Gooch here, and we're joined over the telephone by frontman for the band Incubus, Brandon Boyd. Incubus obviously going to be down at the Joint inside the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino on September 5th and 6th, a double-nighter.
Yeah.
Right.
Trouble.
Right on, man. And it's funny because when I remember Incubus, the very first time I ever saw you guys live, this was way back when you had super long dreadlocks, and it was 1999, and you were actually opening for Pantera and Black Sabbath at the Thomas and Mack, and it was an amazing show.
Wow, you were at that show.
Dude, I was at the show, and it was crazy because a lot of the music that you were playing was from Fungus Among Us and Science, and it was so metal. It was very hard. And then not even a year later, the album Make Yourself comes out, and songs like Drive and Part of Me just blasted you guys to the top of the food chain. And the question I had for you is what led to that change? It was like, I'm not saying it was just totally different music, and it was unbelievable, but just there obviously something had to have happened.
I think that there's a lot of things that were taking place at that time. We toured behind Science for a little over 2 years, and so we were playing those songs sometimes 2 shows a day for that period of time, and it was amazing. It was fun, and we got to the point where we really just felt like we got home and we went straight into the like a band room to write another record, and the stuff that started coming out just naturally was different. It was totally different than Science. And I think that the thing with this band is that over the years and every time we get together to write a record, it just sounds different than the one that came before it, because we're not actually consciously, we don't have the sort of, what I'm understanding is like the kind of Nashville song machine type of mentality. Like, we get together and we're artists.
Yeah.
So we're interested in not sort of going down the same path twice. We're interested in continually forging new territory. And so sometimes that has led to some strife amongst our listeners, and then they hate what we do at first, and then they kind of live with it, and then the songs seem to grow on them, and then they end up loving a lot of
right.
stuff that they originally hated and felt betrayed by. And to me, that's like, it's challenging for us as not only artists, but as people who we care about our listeners, and we want them to be happy. But what we're trying to do is make sounds that we haven't heard before.
Right,
so
right.
It would be to us sort of creatively criminal to repeat ourselves, especially in a contrived way, like trying to say, like, let's make another Science or something like that.
Right. Is that why you guys stick pretty much with that experimental sound, because you enjoy just creating something new every time you enjoy the challenge?
Yeah, I think so. In a manner of speaking, yes. We are, first and foremost, kind of entertaining ourselves and each other when we're making music together. And it's not too dissimilar from the feeling when you're a kid in the sandbox and somebody hands you a new toy or a new spoon to dig with. It's like you get creative with it. And so over the years, we've gotten better at our craft. But in other ways, we've sort of come to understand, I'll just speak for myself, come to understand, like, my limitations as a singer and as a lyricist or as a musician. And it's a really sort of wonderfully liberating thing to understand your creative limitations, because then you know what your playing field is. You can see the boundaries, and you can see where you want to push and where you want to stay. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun, but there's not a lot of formula in there, and
right.
That's, I think, why we're still a band.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten bored with the process yet.
Right. KOMP 92.3, the rock station. We're speaking with Brandon Boyd, frontman for Incubus, and you mentioned something about creative limitations, and to a lot of people, that's scary. That is scary territory, just the word limitations. They don't even want to hear it, and here you are limited.
Yeah, I'll say it again, it's actually quite liberating to understand where your boundaries are. I made a solo record in 2010 called The Wild Trapeze, and I went into the forest up in upstate New York and recorded it by myself with a producer buddy of mine, and I played like 90-something% of the instruments on the record, and I almost didn't put it out because it was sort of, it's not like great musicianship. And I'm the first person to say that because I know that I'm not a great quote-unquote musician, especially times as objectively as I could, and I actually felt really liberated by this understanding of like, wow, there I am, like right out in the open, like this. I shouldn't be afraid of this. I should actually I should celebrate my limitations, and by almost like embracing them, you're offering the opportunity to move beyond them. If that makes sense.
And that's the thing. Most people like to talk about doing things. And from what I've read on your bio, you're not much of a talker. You're more of a doer. You're a painter. You wrote 3 books, stage actor. We just got done talking about the solo record. Why is it so important for you to stay that busy?
I think it's probably, speaking about understanding, I think it's because I understand my the very real possibility I have of thinking myself to death, thinking myself into a hole, and really getting into a place of where you just talk about doing stuff, think about things, and you overthink things to the point where you actually don't do anything. You can sink yourself into a pit. And so I've learned over the years to be more creatively spontaneous. If I have an idea, just throw it out. Just if it's imagery, just throw it out, even if it sucks, because then you can see it on the wall or on a video or something, and you're like, okay, that sucks, let's move on.
Right,
but
right.
Maybe you're like, ooh, there's something kind of amazing here. I'm going to call my buddy who's better at this than I am, and then you can help facilitate this idea to something larger.
That's actually a very therapeutic approach to life, actually. I mean, just stop being afraid, start doing it. You're the only one that's holding yourself back, and here you are just pretty much showing that's what led to your success.
There's, I'm sure everyone who's listening has heard the old adage, get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it bears repeating, though, especially when it comes to creative pursuits. And this doesn't necessarily mean music or visual art either. I think human beings are sort of inherently creative. Like, we adapt, and adaptation is really just an expression of creativity. So when we learn how to kind of get the hell out of our own way, amazing things happen. And that goes to any walk of life, I believe, at least.
Man, all of a sudden I feel like I got to do something like right now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
just make a cake or something. I don't know, but
muffins, something. Yeah,
I am feeling just an unbelievable source of energy right now. KOMP 92.3, the rock station. We're speaking with Brandon Boyd of Incubus. The album Trust Fall, the new one, Absolution Calling, is the track we've been playing here on KOMP 92.3. Tell me what this album it means to you and the frame of mind you were in when you wrote it.
We had no plan to record music when this whole newish process started. We had no record label, we had no manager. We were we were off of a record label for the first time in about 17 years. We were signed with Sony Music for 17 years, and we lived out the whole life of the contract, which is an unusual thing to happen to any band for that matter. So we were kind of it was a joyous moment where we were like, whoa, we can do whatever we want right now.
Right.
Not that we weren't anyway, but there's just that sort of it was spiritually liberating in a way. It's just not have anything binded to us in any way, bound to us. And so the plan was to do nothing. And then really what happened was there was a really fabulous studio space opened up to us and was offered to us. And it was one of those things where it was too good of an opportunity to turn down. So Michael called me and asked if I wanted to come check it out. I went to see it, and we both agreed that it would be criminal not to set up our gear as soon as possible and see what kind of sounds we could make. And so this EP, these 4 songs that we put out, happened very quickly, and so we kind of had to throw a plan together around the inception of the music, which was fun. And so we sort of put it out on the wire that we were looking for a record label. We ended up getting a manager, which has been amazing, and now we're I think 8 months into touring this year, and we're going to do a second installment of Trust Fall. It'll be Trust Fall Side B, which we're going to finish recording this fall.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. Well, don't forget to catch Brandon Boyd and Incubus down at the Joint inside the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino September 5th and 6th. Double show. You probably want to catch both shows. I'm just going to throw it out there. These guys are amazing. Lots of percussion. I love it when you guys break out the drums and just start banging on them all together. It's amazing. If you haven't seen Incubus live, you got to go check it out. Brandon, thank you so much for calling in, man. Really appreciate it and enjoyed the talk.
Thank you too, man. I appreciate it as well.
Take care of yourself, brother.